Good day. My name is Arvin Shafi, student number W1921326. This presentation documents the entering progress of my final year project titled Student Nest for Students by Students. The project investigates the design and development of a web-based student accommodation platform with particular emphasis on how students' accommodation platform uh, with particular emphasis system architecture and interactions design can be aligned with the expectations of expectations and also behavior of contemporary university students. The presentation does not aim to demonstrate the completed commercial system. Instead, it focuses on the conceptual grounding, design rational, and implemented interaction flows that form the foundation of the platform, where functionality is not yet fully realized and fully implemented. This is framed as a conscious design and development decision rather than an omission. So, here the project aim and design oriented will be the next page. So the primary aim of Student Nest is to uh, design a platform that supports clear, efficient, and trustworthy accommodation discovery for students rather than approaching the platform problems purely from a technical implementation perspective. The project is grounded in the understanding of the system usefulness, which is inseparable from user experience. The design is intentionally aligned with the behavioral patterns of the current generation students who are accustomed to digital systems that are immediate, responsive, and also I could say in terms of design and UI as well. Students typically engage with platforms under time constraints and with limited tolerance for ambiguity or friction. As a result, the system prioritizes a clarity of information, uh, predictability of interaction, and low entry barriers, ensuring that users can engage meaningfully with the platform without extensive onboarding or instructions. Here, what we are aimed to create: so visibility, accessibility, scalability, transparency, security, and GDPR. So across consumption informing the system design is that modern students interact with digital platforms is short goal-oriented sessions. They expect the system to communicate status clearly, respond quickly, and guide them through tasks without requiring explicit technical understanding. According, the platform is structured to support progressive engagement. Students can explore accommodation listings immediately, gaining an understanding of what is visible before being asked to commit to a deeper instructions. This reflects the boundaries shift in digital behavior where users expect system to adapt them rather than requiring user to adapt the system. In that case, try to add some functionalities which are quite useful in terms of thinking about a housing portal accommodation, where this platform is going to be an updated and refined version. The idea of private housing uh, portal from Westminster University, where they have a current page. I thought many more uh, requirements and you know facilities could be implemented inside the project. Here are some project scopes that are included. I can name student accommodation listing uh, with its features here. You can see they're pointed. We got user account authentications and favorites and shortlisting. We got communication and inquiry system, trust and security compliance, search and filtering system, and system and platform features. Here are again was implemented in each section: authentication, navigation, student browsing, search and discovery, property details, personalizations, download tools, which in this case, landlord and students can be the same person because it's a platform for students by students, where students can list their properties if they have anything that they want to sell, or most of the times, uh, you know, put for rent. So put it up there for people to come and rent it in the platform. So scope and definition as a design decision. Let's say the scope of studentness was uh, deliberately defined to support the neutral decision-making journey of students researching for accommodation. The platform focuses on enabling users to discover options, compare key attributes, shortlist preferred listings, and initiate communications. This stage reflects how students typically approach accommodation decisions, particularly when navigation uni uh, uniforms and becomes unfamiliar to some people in some cities or institutions. Functionality that would disrupt or permanently conclude this journey was intentionally excluded at this stage. Here, the scoping. This includes transactional process and legally binding actions, which tend to shift the user to focus away from exploration and evaluation. By narrowing the scope in this way, the system maintains a clear identity as a decision support platform rather than a transactional marketplace, actually. So exclusion of features and generation trust. In this part, we're talking about project scope and what is not actually included and excluded. So the exclusion of certain features is closely tied to student perceptions of trust. Younger users are these days increasingly skeptical of system and automation decisions, obscure logic, or require early commitment without sufficient transparency. So by avoiding uh, this process and uh, instead focusing on explicit user-controlled interactions, the platform reinforces a sense of agency. Students remain in control, filtering and comparison and inquiry, rather than being guided by the hidden system behavior. The design approaches and reflects an understanding that trust is built through visibility and uh, transparency rather than automation alone. Here are some features that will not be in the project, such as payment processing, navigation, mobile applications, third-party verifications, legal uh, tenancy contracts, or AI recommendation systems. So now we're going to talk about the stakeholder and identifications. Uh, while multiple stakeholders interact with the system, the design consistently uh, prioritize the student perspective. Accommodation provides the benefit from structured listing and informed inquiries, but these features are shaped to serve students' comprehension first. Trust signal reinforcement the legitimacy of the platform in the eyes of users. This balances ensure that secondary stakeholders do not introduce complexity that undermines the primary user experience, which is the primary goal. Here is the stakeholder diagram. Uh, we got all these stakeholders. Uh, requirement elicitation. So the system requirements were treated not merely as functional checklists, but as a formal representations of the user behavior. Early requirements correspond to fundamental actions such as accessing the platform, understanding available options, and narrowing choices. Later requirements represent deeper engagement, persistence, and governance. This digital structure mirrors how students gradually adopt digital platforms, progressing from casual exploration to committed use. By aligning requirements with behavioral progression, the system grows organically alongside user investment. And of course, there were some platforms that have been used as reference to compare and see what functionalities are there and could be implemented and updated to new and better functionalities. One of them is Spare Room, for example. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the formal functional requirements. We have subsystems, and we're going to talk about what was actually implemented and was going to be implemented and planned, and what is in progress. So the system functional requirements are formally documented and divided into two primary groups. So requirements from 1 to 8 represents core student-facing functionality, including authentication, browsing, searching, mapping, and messaging. These are legally implemented within the current prototype and they are inside the project. Requirements are 9 to 16 address the advanced functionality, such as favorites, landlord listing, admin monitoring, and accessibility enhancement, notifications, and profile management. These are either in progress or planned. Oh, some of them are implemented as well. After that, we're going to have some diagrams to check on. So firstly, we got UML diagram, functional model. Uh, so the use case diagram, this just shows a capture high-level functional interactions between actors in the system. As you can see, we have sign up, login, browse. Each of them they can include in further branches of functionalities like user verification, which is included in sign up. And you see it in the dynamic model in a way how the system will work. Here we got browsing room, which extends in filtering the room, edit profile, which includes edit, add, delete property listing, posting rooms, which includes contacting landlords. So from viewing the room, you can contact the landlord and actually have a chat with them. We got post room advertisement, which extends into filtering the room extension points will be price, date, and locations. So this is the searching system and the browsing system. We also, from posting rooms, we have liking favorites. So you can like your favorite room if you want to save it and just go back to it later. And that extends to reporting the post. So you can actually report a post that you don't like and you think is inappropriate, and that will be monitored through the platform database and admin panel in Django, and they will just like you know view it or monitor it and see uh, you know the reason why this thing has been reported, this post has been reported, and what's the reason. They will investigate it. Mm. Here we got the conceptual ERD diagram. So this defines the system's domain entities and their relationships, including users, listing, messages, and favorites. Dynamic model illustrates the temporal behavior of key workflows, just such as registration, logging, browsing, and posting and listing. These models ensured that development decisions were grounded in formal design artifacts and reducing architectural ambiguity. Here we got dynamic models. This is for the setting up the account and signing system, as you can see here. we have the system and it shows you what happens. So the user will open the platform, fill in your personal data, validates the input in the system, then it sends it to the database and saves it. And when saved is successful, sign up will be successful, and you will be guided to the dashboard page, and your dashboard will be created. This one is the dynamic model of logging system and the UI of the page. Here we got searching and the browsing room system. This is the dynamic model for room viewing. So when you actually want to view the room, this is what you actually see here. And when you press the key on the poster rooms will say view room details, so you can have access to the full room details. And this is the list for posting listing rooms. And this is the system of how the dynamic system showing the way it works. Okay, so about prototype implementation, I could say, so the current prototype is implemented using a different interfaces and different development processes. So the current prototype is best understood as an interactional model rather than a complete data-driven system. So the software used for this system for templates and style, HTML and CSS wireframes, uh, for the API calls, functionality, and REST. Vanilla Java was used for database system and saving. Of course, I used Django and also used Django's uh, password hashing implementation system for hashing and security. Also for hosting the website, I used Python Anywhere because it was one of the only websites that was accepting Django as a database. So I could put so I could connect my files of uh, files of my local website in a GitHub repository, backend and frontend together. Then through Python Anywhere, I could host it and make the website become live, help the website become live. Here, the purpose is to validate navigation structure, visual hierarchy, feedback mechanism, and overall for coherence. We have authentication, listing, catalog, navigation shows, and error and state. Of course, evidence quality is important based on these principles that are all mentioned here. So by prioritizing interaction quality over data completeness, the project ensures that the feature technical uh, expansions does not compromise usability. This approach reflects a design first philosophy where functionality is layered onto a stable interaction function foundation. Okay. Here we're going to talk about the timeline, managing progress and design evaluation. Uh, Before we speak about that, let's actually finish it and go for this one. So the timeline and management, this project followed a phase development approach, uh, beginning with requirements gathering and system design. Some scheduled deviations occurred due to complexity of authentication and backend integrations, so necessarily uh, scope reprioritizations. Some scheduled as trying to align the agile approach with incremental milestones. So this actually allowed core functionality to be delivered while deferring higher risk features. So here there are features that are implemented until February where we're at. Yeah, projects aim to be finished for April actually, for safety. Here got the critical reflection on design alignment. So one of the key strengths of the project to date is the early establishment of interaction patterns and navigation logic. So this provides a strong foundation for future development without requiring disruptive design. However, the project also highlights the challenges of balancing ambition with restraint. Central learning outcome has been the recognition that adding functionality does not always inherently improve system quality, particularly for system users who prioritize efficiency and clarity. Uh, this reinforces the importance of maintaining alignment between design internet and user behavior throughout development. In conclusion, students currently represent a design-aligned student-centered platform prototype that reflects the interactions, experiences, and expectations of the current generation of university students. The system prioritizes clarity, agency, and trust, and its structures has been shaped by a deep consideration of how students search, evaluate, and engage with accommodation platforms. Uh, feature future development will be built upon this foundation, extending functionality while preserving the core design principle and established during this phase. Overall, the project demonstrates how academically grounded system design aligned with generational user behavior can produce a platform that are both platforms that are both functional and meaningfully usable. Thank you for watching this video and considering your time for it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or drop in comments. Thank you very much.